15 years old. He's been visually impaired since he was a toddler. He has 2 degrees of remaining central field. He has a visual acuity of 2200. He's been my student for about 6 years, and so I've had the fortunate opportunity to work with him through several concepts from simple to complex. Abdul is very popular with his classmates. He's a very social person. He really enjoys looking nice and buying clothes, and actually that's worked out well for the concept that I'm working with him on today. We've been working in a metropolitan area, and so we've been traveling through downtown Center City. He is about to go to his prom, and so he wants to buy a new outfit for the prom. It just so happens that the department store that he loves to shop in has a revolving door. However, he has never actually had to travel through the revolving door because it has optional doors. So this looked like a great opportunity to introduce him to the revolving doors. The other thing that's worked out very well is that when Abdul was younger, when we would play on the playground, the little merry-go-round type playground equipment, it goes around and around, and children go on and you run and you push it around. We had an opportunity to use that device, and that transitions very well to revolving doors. So that's a concept that he has that's a prior concept that will work very well for what we're going to do with his three-dimensional map today. The other thing that's great about Abdul is that he has a great sense of spatiality. He knows where he is in relationship to other objects. He also is fortunate in the fact that he has no vestibular problems. So the fact that he would be going, the concept of moving around in a circle is not an issue for him. So that works well also with a tactile map. Another unique thing about Abdul that will work very well today is that he loves to do airplane models. So in thinking about Abdul, his desire to look good at the prom, his love to shop, which is a great tactile experience, and the fact that he loves to do airplane models, I had all that in my mind when I decided to go about creating my 3D tactile or concept for him to learn today. So what I'm going to do is just bring it out to the table as though I would do this for Abdul. So I'm going to start very simply, and what I'm going to do is to take the first part of the map, and this map represents, in a highly contrasted way, the difference between indoors and outdoors, and also the wall of the department store. Since he has 2200, his vision is not that poor, his acuity is not that poor, it's the 2 degrees remaining central field that's the issue. So in considering that, I tried to be very simplistic with my lines. Instead of making vertical walls, I represented the walls by just doing a raised piece of balsa wood. I used yellow for indoors, and actually this has plastic tape over it, clear tape, to give it that sensation of a polished concrete floor or marble floor. And then on the other side of it, I used corrugated cardboard, and I painted it black to represent the sidewalk. I used black, yellow, and then this bright pink, hoping that that would give him enough contrast that he could use his remaining vision. I also considered the fact with the 2 degrees of remaining central field that he could follow these lines by scanning, and we could review what concepts that he already has, and he has great scanning ability, even with that just that 2 degrees of remaining central field. So he could follow these visually as well as tactually when he's exploring the map. So the first thing that I would do is show Abdul this portion of the map, and then I'd have him visually explore it. So he would visually and tactily explore it in combination. You can see here where I have some Velcro strip tape. I have labels for him that he can use, and they are brailled. And this one says indoors, and this one says outdoors. So I would actually put these on the table, have him read them, And then I would have him explore the map, and he has to determine which is the inside and which is the outside. Outside being the sidewalk, inside being the smooth surface of the inside of the store. Then he would take the labels and place them, by tactually feeling the Velcro strip, he would place them in the appropriate spot. We would then talk about, okay, now, you're on the outside, you want to go on the inside. So how do you usually go into this department store? And of course, he'll say the door. So I would introduce it. Well, today we're going to talk about a door that's very unique. Can you think back of when we were on the playground and we were on that little merry-go-round where you would jump on it, you would push and run, and you would jump, and you would spin around and spin around and spin around, and then you would slowly get off. Well, there's a unique door called a revolving door, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So I would go from simple to complex. So what I would do is take out the first geometric shape that's involved in a revolving door, which is a circle. We have it here on the map too. And on this tactile map, what I did was on the yellow portion of it, I took a black highlighter and I highlighted the yellow portion of that semicircle so that he could see the circle on the map. Now, keeping in mind that 2 degrees remaining visual field, I mean, honestly, how much of this map is he going to see? So, I may have to actually take the map and walk from back here and say, okay, well, let's look at it from back here. Okay, so that I can get far enough away from him that he could actually see the entirety of the map. Okay. I might even walk toward him and have him then actually explore it, place it on the table so that he can sort of get grounded in his concepts. Then I'd say, okay, now, I would ask him to tell me what he's feeling here. So, I tried to contrast this as much as I could. I didn't have to put this little circle at the top, but I thought I'd add it. Because I thought as many images of and tactually circles that I could do, the better he would have the concept. So, I would explain to him that this is actually the top of the door. Okay, and then we might compare and contrast what's the top of a normal door like. It's a straight line. Okay, how about curves? Remember those straight lines, curves, and angles? So here we have, a traditional door is straight line, and here we have curves. So this is the top of this door. So we'd have, explore that, and then I would explain to him, okay, now let's talk about the bottom part of that door. With a traditional door, you have a straight line, and then the door itself is straight at the top. It makes a rectangle. Well, because the top of this door is indeed a circle, the bottom of it is also a circle. But it's a unique kind of circle, and I would just give it to Abdul and say, okay, tell me what's different about that. He's very good with his geometric shape, so he's going to say, well, if he happened to pick it up this way, he'd say, it's a cylinder. Wait a minute, what's happening? So I just let him explore, and then, at a point he would realize, well, it's missing some parts, which is, further along that complexity. It's missing a part. Well, why do you think it's missing that part? So you can go through it. So I would have him then take the top, put it on the cylinder, and say, okay, Abdul, this is the frame of the door. It's a circular frame, which is, a frame in itself, and compare it again to the rectangular door. Then I would actually have Abdul place the cylinder on the tactile map, which you can easily feel this is actually depressed. This portion of the map goes down, which gives him good tactile sensation, so you can go here, and then have him place it. Now, he might place it like this. And then we would talk about 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. How are you going to get through that door? He may say, well, I could go through here. Well, yeah, but you're going to come out over here. So we would talk through that. So until we would talk through those concepts and problem solve until he had it in the right position. Then I would say, well, this door is even more complex. It can allow a lot of people to go through it almost at the very, well, and actually simultaneously. Actually, 4 people could go through the door at the same time. And then I would bring out this portion of the 3D representation. And we would talk about straight lines, and then we would talk about angles. And we got some angles here, and person here, person here, person here, and then we would spin it. So we would have that concept. And again, relate it back to the spinning playground equipment. Then I would have Abdul place this inside the tactile map. And then we would spin and spin and talk about it. Now, a revolving door goes in a counterclockwise motion. So, we would talk about what's clockwise, what's counterclockwise, so that he can anticipate, okay, I know it's going to go counterclockwise. That's a concept he already knows counterclockwise, but he's going to have to relate it to a big object now. So, then we would go through, and as you can see with this 3D map, it should be have enough contrast in it that he can see the push bars. So we would relate that to the push bars on the playground. They're just in a little bit different location. And then we would talk about entering and then exiting out at 12 o'clock, okay, on the other side. Because that's really important on a revolving door, because if you wait too long, you're going to exit and you're going to crash into the other side. So you really have to have a concept, that really the concrete concept is, okay, 12 o'clock or 6 o'clock or whatever. So we would do that. Other concepts that we would review are, what about the fact that somebody else may be in there at the same time and maybe they're pushing a little harder than I'm pushing and maybe this thing's going a little more, you know, it's faster than I wanted it to go. Those are easy concepts to talk about because we've done that on the playground. So, this is the 3D representation of a revolving door for Abdul. Of course, the reward at the end is the very, very sharp outfit that Abdul will have.